I went to high school at Century Academy in Thousand Oaks, California. The area in and around Thousand Oaks is dominated by typical large public and private schools. As is evidenced by the size of these surrounding schools, Thousand Oaks is a large suburban area, the second biggest in the city of Ventura County, with a population of over 800,000. The community, however, is very tight-knit. A notable feature of the area is the quantity of protected natural open space, making it a great place to hike and bike. The city is beautiful and really offers everything you could need, and even the few things that are not in Thousand Oaks are only a short drive away. The city is located within 50 miles of the vibrant metropolis of Los Angeles, where there are multitudes of cultural opportunities, such as both theaters and museums. Thousand Oaks is also less than 25 miles from the Pacific Ocean and some of the most famous beaches for exploration and surfing. Just over 100 miles away are the San Gabriel Mountains for skiing and snowboarding as well as hiking. Thousand Oaks is also one of the safest cities in the nation. It is fairly wealthy, with a median household income reaching over $100,000. The area is surrounded by some of the top colleges in the nation, including the University of California schools and Stanford University. All colleges where many students from my high school, Century Academy, are regularly admitted. Century was founded in 2009, and when they first started classes here, the total student body was less than 30 students. They only had 4 teachers, and they were working out of 3 modular or temporary classrooms. By 2016, my freshman year, the school had grown, but they were still under 100 students. The campus had expanded to 2 permanent classrooms and 5 temporary ones. My senior year, the student enrollment had blossomed to over 150, and the only reason there was not more was due to the administration's desire to ensure that campus size could accommodate those increasing numbers, and that faculty-student ratios could be maintained. We finally had a real campus with an auditorium and more than one bathroom. That same year, 2020, the Conejo Valley Unified School District already had plans to hire more staff and faculty for Academy so they could accommodate the consistently increasing students. There is one large factor as to why so many people wished to attend Century. Not only does Century have less than 200 students, but its learning model is quite unique. These characteristics positively shape both the school and the students that attend it. Century Academy blends traditional learning and independent study. The result almost mirrors college learning. You pick your classes and meet in the classroom 2 to 3 times a week, the rest of your day being left to do the large amount of homework you have. This means, depending on the classes you choose, you can have widely varying schedules and even have no classes on some days. Besides this block-type scheduling, it is a pretty standard school. They offer most classes, including those at the advanced placement level. Yet since it is such a small school, certain extracurricular activities such as athletics, band, dance, and the majority of clubs are not offered. However, Century has a CIF waiver and an interdistrict affidavit, which allows students to participate in these activities elsewhere. Participation must take place at the student's home school, which is the public school for which their home address is zoned. All of these factors drew in a very unique crowd to Century. We had a lot of professional actors and dancers who had busy schedules with their respective productions, and Century's flexible schedule and decreased class time worked perfectly for them. Similarly, a lot of high-level competitive athletes attended Century. Stanford's current starting women's soccer goalie, an Olympic gymnastic prospect, a rising film star, and a professional women's tennis player, along with many more, attended Century with me. The program allowed them the time they needed to train at their level while still giving them rigorous NCAA qualifying academics. Beyond athletes and actors, there were traditional students who attended Century, simply because they didn't enjoy the standard high school social or academic models. This meant our student body had a decent number of young people who felt socially outcast at their other schools due to their interests, appearance, or affectations. For many, being one of 2,000 to 3,000 students was unappealing, and truly, Century is the only real option for those seeking a small school atmosphere. There was a few private schools further away that had populations of around 400, but those institutions cost between $40,000 to $60,000 a year, which many families can't afford, again, leaving Century as the only true option. The school had many students who simply felt that Century's similarity to college planning would better prepare them for their future more than any typical high school could. Although the heavy workload could be overwhelming for some, it honed our writing skills, time management abilities, and also made the transition to the workload in college seamless. With class sizes that could be less than 8, you truly were able to learn directly from your teachers and build a strong bond with them. Rather than being spoken to, students were able to have an open conversation about the subject matter. Century, for most of its students, is a great place to feel safe, grow, be an individual, pursue your passions, and encounter a variety of interesting classmates, all while experiencing a unique school curriculum. It really is an opportunity not found anywhere else in the Conejo Valley.